Hello, and welcome to Every Day is Funny. Monday, I think May 20th? Yeah. And this is a very special ep of the show. Not only is it a Monday, which is fantastic, I guess, I am joined by my first ever on-air guest, Jeff Sourman. Jeff, how are you?
Feeling very good. Feeling very excited to be here.
The vibes are good. We are in the town of Philadelphia. We had seen a hard rock show last night, which is not the vibe of this podcast, but it's good to,
not.
you gotta shake the dust off every once in a while and reset. And I believe we did that moshing around. I do want to start, well, also, what do you think about, I was thinking about this last night, a comic strip about a punk band.
Whoa.
And at the end of every strip, it doesn't really end with a joke. It just ends with a little bit of punk rock wisdom.
I think there's definitely something there for that.
Okay, I'll put that on the back burner.
I love that.
Thank you. I want to get your take before we begin today's comics on newspaper comics in general.
Whoa.
Did you grow up with them? Did you have any faves? What's your opinion before we dive in?
I definitely read the comics in the newspapers growing up.
Okay.
We would get the Bergen Record.
Yes.
And I would dig out the comics section of the newspaper.
Every day?
Not every day, but it was definitely a regular thing I would do. There was definitely a period in my childhood of every week. I don't know if it was weekends or what.
It might have been this big Sunday Funnies.
Yeah, there was, I guess it probably was the Sunday Funnies. Because there would be the one day, sometimes it was just the back of some section, but I guess there was one day, probably Sunday, where there was a whole pull-out comics section.
And what was your go-to?
I really liked Zitz,
Yep.
Ziggy.
Ziggy's good.
Loved Ziggy, Family Circus.
Hell yeah.
There was one with an army guy.
Beetle Bailey.
Yes, Beetle Bailey.
And that's what I was thinking in terms of the punk rock, because I've read Beetle Bailey before on this show, and I find it, most of these premises are just a family lives at home. Mm-hmm. At least Beetle Bailey had this serious setting of an army base, and that's why I thought the punk rock thing, take a serious hardcore thing but instill a bit of levity.
Yes.
I think people would enjoy such a thing.
I definitely would. That would, I could...
It doesn't fit
one of the reasons
the
I
audience,
like... I don't know. One of the reasons I liked Zitz was because there was, I remember episodes, I don't know. Strips of Zitz, and he had, some sort of band.
Yes.
And I like, big music guy, so I always thought that was exciting, and I like the punk thing because there is philosophy with the punk ethos and the community.
Well, because we were at this show last night, and you hear this was not a metal show.
No,
but
it was a very hardcore punk. Yeah,
and you hear the idea often that metalhead fans are the nicest of fans.
Yes, 100%.
And last night, although not a metal show, was very welcoming atmosphere.
100%. I've very much found that to be true about punk and metal scenes.
So
I love the scary on the outside, absolute nicest, most welcoming people you'll ever meet in person.
Maybe by the end of today's ep, we could have a fake band name for this group and develop a little plot synopsis. But why don't we dive in?
Let's dive in.
Now, I'm going to let you, maybe we go to your childhood favorites, which you mentioned Zitz.
I did mention
and we got
Zitz.
it right here on
It's
Comics
right in front of
Kingdom.
us. Whoa, and he's rocking out on a microphone.
All right, let's see if today's Zitz involves music of any kind. You want to add it to your favorites?
I wasn't sure what I was looking at.
All right, Monday,
Wow.
May 20th, Zitz. Now, this is an interesting first panel here because the man is just sighing in a thought bubble, and is that his mom is reaching within the bubble.
Yeah, this almost feels like meta.
Yeah. And then she grabs a card out of his thought bubble and says, I want to go to Europe this summer. Yeah, we'll join the club, Buster. And then presumably his dad is nearby saying, nobody reads a sigh like you, babe. What do you think of that?
I like it.
Why? See, this is nice. I feel like when I'm doing this solo, I don't really want to be critical. But now I can be like, why do you like this?
Well, there's someone to bounce opinions off of now.
Yeah.
I like this comic. Yes, I may not have laughed, but
yeah,
I enjoyed it. I like the side bubble and of the sun in the first frame. I enjoy it feels like the meta breaking fourth wall aspect of it has a side bubble and then there's a trap door in the bubble that the mom interacts with, like coming out of the comic and interacting with the framework of the comic itself with the side bubble.
To play devil's advocate, because I do enjoy that, it seems a bit front-loaded because the ending joke does not match the creativity of the opening idea. If you land it harder, like that's reaching into a side bubble, I agree, is great stuff. But it doesn't really land in the same way. It is kind of also a metaphor for parents intruding into their children's lives.
Well, that's how I took it, and I that's one of the reasons I liked it. I felt like when at the end of it, when with the no one reads a sigh like you, the dad saying to the mom, I was like, I felt like I could see the origin of the idea for this strip of like how moms can read their kids or parents can read their kids so well.
Also, you have her tossing away as if I'm not even gonna. There is a struggle with this dynamic. He needs to be heard a little more. Yes. It doesn't need to be a trip to Europe, but just at least hear the boy out. Yeah, you've clearly never taken him anywhere.
No, the universal experience of being neglected by your parents.
And the dad just kind of letting it happen. And sure, he's not actively as disinterested in the boy's life, but there is the idea that silence is complicitness. That's right. So there's a lot to this.
There kind of is a surprising amount to this comic.
And it's interesting. Like the son never says anything.
That's
never
true.
Gets a word in.
Never gets a word in.
Wow, that's a great first strip.
I do like that one a lot.
All right, what are you feeling next? Which you mentioned Family Circus.
I did.
Which is a favorite of mine as well.
Learning how to navigate this site.
Yeah, Comics Kingdom is your one-stop shop for all your daily strip needs. Maybe I should do a fake ad in case they ever wanna.
Product placement, Comics Kingdom. If there's a partnership to be had, for you, it is with Comics Kingdom.
I mean, I've clearly not given anyone else as much free publicity in my life.
Mary
Worth. Let's go to Mary Worth because I read this yesterday, and so basically this is one of those daily serious strips.
Okay.
And what's happening right now is a man named Wilbur got dumped by his girlfriend. Unfortunate.
Sorry, Wilbur.
Yeah, agreed. And also yesterday his goldfish died, whose name was Stellan, and he was weirdly giving a funeral service alone in his room for this goldfish. So now we will see if that service will continue or if we've moved on.
So was it back-to-back issues of being dumped by the girlfriend, then goldfish dying, or was same strip? Or?
I took a week or so break. No, time had elapsed, but not enough time where it's like clearly this was bad timing. If the fish had held off for another couple of weeks, I don't think he would internalize it as like everyone's leaving me. But he clearly is.
Wilbur's getting the 1-2 punch.
Yeah, this is the Wilbur 1-2. Oh, he's still doing the service.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't this an alarming photo?
Wow, that kind of is.
All right, so we got when Wilbur makes a homemade resting place for his late goldfish. And he says, there, a proper bed for my friend. Stellan, my late buddy, how am I supposed to let you go?
Wow.
And that's it. Now, who... well, I'd like to... What are your immediate thoughts? Really take that image in.
There is something striking, is
Yes.
that the word, about the image of, like, it is, the art style is very detailed. Like,
Yes.
the fish and the guy, Wilbur,
That's right.
and his face, it's not like,
He's not well.
no, he is not well, and it...
What I find alarming is, like, we see in TV and movie, and perhaps even in real life, children wanting to do a more realistic burial for animals they care about. But this is to a level that I've never even seen a child demand.
No, this is a 50-year-old man with the goldfish in a box on some sort of pillow, cloths.
Surrounded by flowers.
Surrounded by flowers. The box is surrounded by flowers.
That's the main part I don't get, because
There's something about the flowers that makes it heartbreaking.
And he's just he's like doing all this on his desk. He's not even putting the flowers outside. So he's going to have to move the flowers.
Yeah, the first frame is just the fish up close, and the second frame is Wilbur at his desk with his head in his hands.
So I don't know what his plan is for transporting the flowers. He could have just sprinkled them on top of the fish like a garnish.
Like a garnish.
But he chose, I'm going to do this whole presentation on my desk. I hope he doesn't leave the fish on the desk.
I guess this is the wake, and then he'll have the formal burial.
Oh, tomorrow's the service?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to come back
I
tomorrow.
really hope tomorrow is the burial service. It's like the formal...
Yeah, this is a good question. Do you think he's going to kind of eschew all this and just throw it in the toilet after this? Do you think he's going to go in his backyard?
I think...
And do you believe in life after death?
I'll take these questions one at a time.
Okay.
I do think that he is going to continue with... I don't think he's going to just eschew this fish away. I think next episode or next trip we are going to... Like, I think it's going to be a Dr. Rex Morgan style of, like, next week he's going to be walking outside. The next episode we're going to see him burying the fish. I think he's clearly had an attachment to the fish. I don't think it's going down the sink or the toilet.
Do you think if... no one's ever done sick.
Yeah.
Do you think if
Clog
his
your pipes.
girlfriend called him and was like, I want you back, he would forget about Stellan? Or would he still go... would he care as much about
No, I did not see the girlfriend.
I haven't seen her either.
I don't... I think...
This could be a
I think
situation of that
he might
football player.
welcome her back, but I don't think he's going to forget about this fish so easily.
Okay. It's sad.
He says, a proper bed for my friend. This isn't a fish. This is his friend.
Big goldfish.
That is a big goldfish. They say goldfish can get big. They say it depends on the...
Who's they?
People you see throughout your life. I hear a goldfish is getting big. The size of a goldfish...
You're putting your... this is an
depends
audio
on
media.
the container it's in, I believe. Like, you...
So if you put a little goldfish in an aquarium alone...
I heard they'll get really big. I've heard this. I've seen larger goldfish. I've never had a goldfish. I can't... I heard the size of the goldfish is proportional to the container it's in.
Baffling. Alright, let's move on from Maryworth. R.I.P. to Stellan. Let's finish it off. We should finish it off with Rex Morgan, MD.
I feel like we gotta.
Which is...
Do we search
doing
for
two
Rex Morgan?
doing two serious ones back to back is a bit of a thing, but I think it's okay.
I believe there is something after death. I'm not sure if it is. I forgot about the crucial question.
I thought you didn't even want to go in, so I didn't harp
I
on
just
it.
got sidetracked with the richness that there was to talk about with
Do you think
Wilbur.
Do you think goldfish have their own space? Like, there's a lot of dogs go to dog heaven.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I think everything goes to the same place except for dogs who have their own heaven.
Huh.
No, I'm of the ilk that we all go into one universal blob of spirit afterwards.
Even Stellan.
Yes, even Stellan. Stellan's the fish, right? Yeah, it's Wilbur.
Wilbur's the guy.
Yes, I definitely would attribute to that one.
That's a good answer.
We all return to the oneness, as
do you think before
people I listen to would say?
Do you think before life we were with Stellan then?
Yes, I think it's a cycle of returning and leaving.
Damn, I'm excited to see Stellan. Not so much Wilbur. He didn't look well. All right, Rex Morgan, MD. Monday. Whoa.
It's a text? Is it normally this text heavy?
No, it's not this. And we're also seeing a totally different family. I don't know what's going on, but this is not Rex.
Oh my God.
Or his family. These are bizarros. All right, maybe it'll be explained. We haven't seen some of our supporting cast in a while. Let's check in with them this week and see what they're all up to. The Vidpas are busy being parents to their little girl. Kyle's working on a new kitty cop graphic novel, of course. And now we have this family, the Vidpas. The father is saying, how about in this one, kitty cop finds a baby and has to take care of it while he tracks down the missing parents and fights a robot shark. And the mom just says, sounds good to me.
I love that even though it's a new family, we're still in the Rex Morgan style.
It's still in the Rex Morgan style. What a weird...
The father is holding a baby.
The father's holding a baby.
What a strange... the inspiration is coming from his own personal life.
Wait a minute. This is baffling to me.
This is insane.
We go from a very serious family drama and a very serious, like, very conservative feeling family.
It did not feel resolved last issue.
No, it didn't feel resolved. And now we're just with a family where the guy is making...
a kitty cop graphic novel.
A graphic novel about a kitty cop fighting a robot shark. Like, the tone is changing like I've never seen anything.
Drastic tone shift.
All right, well, there's a lot here. I find it interesting to start with a meta...
You know what I mean? Thought that, like, the comic opened up with the author of the comic addressing the audience.
It's kind of like, you know, I'm not on my high horse. Not a lot of people listen to this. But it's kind of like the author has been listening and being like, oh, I think I got to switch it up. We've been focusing on this
Every
thing
Day is Funny does not realize the scope of the
power
Rex Morgan universe. Do we know for sure? I've never actually seen the Rex Morgan comics. I've only heard your breakdowns of them.
Yeah.
Are we sure that that the dad of the family is Rex Morgan? Do we know that for sure? Because now we're learning there are other players in this universe. Have we not actually met Rex Morgan yet?
I think they've said the name Rex while addressing him.
Interesting.
And he definitely is the handsome kind of lead doctor vibe.
Gotcha.
Now the Vidpas, this is strange to me. I guess Vidpas is like, you know, I kind of equate this to, you know, Rex Morgan, the Morgan family is a band who's like at the height of their powers doing classic albums. And then the Vidpas is the side project where they get to be a little experimental.
Whoa.
Talking about graphic novels and babies fighting robot sharks.
Also interesting of the character being a graphic novel writer in a comic strip.
I'm going to let that pass. But what is really interesting... Yeah, it's still kind of loud. I'm going to leave it all in, but... But what's really interesting is the way the wife reacts. Sounds good to me. It's like, yeah, honey, I really just need you to make the graphic novel so we can pay the rent.
I handed you this baby because it needs to be changed. Great idea. Sounds good. We stay focused here.
She does not care. She's like,
She wants to be supportive.
I've never read any of your past novels. I'm not going to read this one. It's not my style, but honey, you got a minor audience. You go for it, man.
And it's also Kitty Cop graphic novel. Sounds like a younger audience.
It is
a graphic novel series for children.
We should say it's kitty with two T's, not kitty with two D's.
That is true.
So a cat cop.
Yes, a cat cop. Cat cop.
I would like to, after we're done here, look it up and see if in the Rex Morgan universe there are already existing kitty cop lore.
That would... What do you I would love if there were some issues of Rex Morgan that was just panels from Kitty Cop.
You know what I think Kitty Cop would do? Arrest Stellan for being too delicious.
Whoa.
You know what I'm talking about?
Wow, crossover event.
The Merryworth Rex Morgan crossover that people have been waiting for. And it just stars Stellan.
This is how Stellan died. And we just don't know yet.
Got eaten by Kitty Cop? Well, this was a wonderful ep. Jeff, thanks for joining me.
It was lovely being here.
Great first guest. And I don't know, is there anything else you want to say? Oh, do you have a band name for the fake punk band in my comic?
Band name for the fake punk name? I have...
You have a list of band names?
I do have a list of band names.
Are you willing to...
I'm going to see if we have anything that feels applicable.
Okay.
Inside Baseball.
I like
this
that.
Is something where I write down every single idea. Nickelback Relapse.
Inside Baseball, I kind of like. All right,
it's one of those ideas where it's bad, but wait, is there something there?
Yeah. All right, so the punk band's named Inside Baseball.
Also got Thick Freaks.
All right, we're gonna sign off. Jeff, thanks for joining.
My pleasure, my absolute pleasure.
And we'll be back tomorrow. Remember, every day is funny.